Hello, it's Dr. Bettina here from Nip in the Bud. We had a letter from the parent of a 12-year-old. Her daughter is being left out of some friendship WhatsApp groups. She can also see on Snap Maps that her friends are meeting up without her. And this mother said it's really getting her daughter down and she doesn't know what to do to help. So I've got some ideas today for this parent and other parents in a similar situation. This is such a typical thing that is going on right now. And the first thing I think that stands out about this is that this little girl is 12, which is actually very young for a child to have a phone and to be using Snapchat and WhatsApp. And I feel like it's such a confusing time for parents at the moment because there really is a lack of guidance about when and how to give kids these devices. And there is some good research showing that kids' brains are just not ready to manage relationships through these devices and through social media. So if you haven't yet given your kid a phone at the age of 12, I would really try to delay things. And if you do feel like you need to give them some kind of phone, think really carefully about which apps you give them and don't give them the social media apps until it's really necessary, until they're a bit older. It will really protect their mental health and well-being. But if your child has a phone and this situation is going on as is with this family, don't blame yourself. I think a lot of parents are doing this. And there are some things that we can do to help. So I've got 5 things here that you can consider in managing this situation. Just before I get into the 5 things, the other thing to say is that at the age of 12, this child's teenage brain has just become activated. And we know lots of things about what happens in this period of time, the teenage years between the start of puberty and mid-20s. The brain is on a very particular setting. And one of the things that young people are really driven towards is integrating with their peers. It's a top priority, and FOMO, a fear of missing out, is a real threat for them. So let's get on with the 5 top tips. The first one I would say is to manage your own reactions. Now, it is extremely painful for parents to hear that their child is being left out. And it can really trigger this kind of mama bear or papa bear reaction in us. But in that state, we can jump in too quickly, and all of our big emotions and all of our grand solutions can take over before we really know what's going on. If we do this, we don't give our rational brain, which is where we do our best thinking, a chance to help us to work out the best way to support our child. So that's the first one, manage your reactions first. Number 2, be really curious. Now, you have to really dig deep until you have the whole story in a situation like this. You need to find out exactly what happened. How often has this happened? With which friends exactly? In what situations? And kids will make emotional statements if they are feeling really distressed. And often a clue to an emotional statement is a black and white idea. I never do this, or they always do that. But while we need to validate how they feel in that moment, we also need to know what's really going on for them. And so having a really good conversation, trying to get all the detail. And part of this as a parent is we have to be open to the fact that our child may not have behaved brilliantly either. They may have done something to upset another child. Kids are experimenting, they're getting things wrong. Even the other kids are getting things wrong. So we have to be really curious and just remember that they're trying things out, and kids are going to get things wrong. We're the adults around them that can help them work out how to fix things. So number 3, my number 3 tip is to plan how to respond collaboratively with your child. So once you have all the details and emotions are a bit calmer, yours and theirs, then think together about how to approach it. Teenagers are driven towards independence and autonomy, and they want to take charge themselves. They don't want us to bulldoze in and take over. You may make things worse if you do that. And, more problematically, if you go in too strong without doing that collaboratively with them, they may not come to you again in the future when they're struggling. We really want kids to come to us when they're struggling so we can help them. So I would ask them as part of that if they want you involved, if they want you to do something. Now, if they don't want you involved, if they say, no, Mom, I don't want you to, you're just going to make things worse, that's okay for now. Then I would help them think about what they can say and do. Part of it might be role playing, what they can say and do with their friends to try to sort things out themselves. And while you're doing this, what you're actually doing is teaching them a process of managing conflict with other people. It's such an incredibly important skill that they will have for the rest of their lives. Now, if they do want you involved and they say, yeah, can you phone their parent? Then just when you make that phone call or when you speak to that parent, go in with curiosity and assume you don't know the whole story, because you don't know the whole story. I would say, I understand that I only have one viewpoint, but my daughter's told me this, and can you tell me a bit about what you think? You're much more likely to reach a solution with the other parent if you do that. Number 4, step in if after time and consideration it really feels necessary. So once you've done the full investigation, if you really think your child is being bullied or excluded, seriously excluded by the other kids, then you have to get the adults around involved. And, there are times when a kid says, please don't do anything. But if you really think they're suffering and they're being bullied, we know that that is associated with lots of poor mental health outcomes. So you have to, tell them that you're going to do it and say, look, we're going to go in together and we're going to, do this in a safe way, but we have to act. And then the 5th tip, I would say, is to be patient and support them emotionally. These problems do not necessarily get fixed instantly. And if you are helping your child to find a new way to communicate with their friends to sort this out, it may take a few attempts, a few approaches before things really improve. Unfortunately, you cannot control the outcome. But what you can do is to offer your child unconditional love from home and a place where they feel that all of them belongs, even when they're struggling. And remember always that sitting with your child when they're struggling charges their emotional battery, and it makes them ready to go out in the world in order to face anything that the world throws them. It's so much power in your love and their sense of belonging at home. So I wish this parent a lot of luck. I hope those tips are helpful. And please do write in and let us know at Nip in the Bud if you are struggling in any way, and we will see if there's any ideas we have to help.